Hey everyone, Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper, back with episode 2 of Scouting Hot Finds Live, this new streaming show that I'm trying to put out once a week. We'll see if we can hold up that schedule. It is quite a chore to put on a weekly show, which originally, when I launched my podcast about 10 years ago, the plan was to have a weekly podcast. But of course, as I just got episode 100 uploaded last week, which was a decade after I started that quest, you can tell that it's not that easy to get a podcast or this type of show up every week. But we'll see if I can hold that up. I'm going to try to make this sort of a fall, winter season, kind of get it closer to Christmas. And then I'll take a break, obviously, over the holidays. Man, got a lot planned for you in this show today. You will find the interview with Tico Perez continues. You'll hear some of the second part of that. That's really going to focus on the opportunities for adults. We're going to talk about how Scout leaders, parents can attend the National Scout Jamboree with their Scouts, something that's really incredible, and also staffing opportunities. Tika is going to talk about that. Of course, we're going to have a giveaway, trying to make this an interactive show. And so you're going to see the results of last week's giveaway, the Ear and Goodman Sash. I'll actually play for you who won the sash and kind of reveal that on the show. And then I'll have another giveaway this week, something else cool that I got in a collection that I want to share with everybody. So stick around for that. I put the link up here for SanteeSwapper.com. That is just simply my link tree, where if you're curious to find out more about me, you can go there and see everything that I have going on. Now, I mentioned the giveaway, so let's talk about that for a second. So with this giveaway, what I did was I had a signed sash from Ian or Goodman, and I decided that I would give that away. And so the way this worked was there was a link that you could click on, put in your name and your email address, and this program that I use randomly selected who the winner was. And so just a few minutes ago, I did that process. I want to show you now who was the winner of the Ian or Goodman sash, and then I'll tell you a little bit about this week's giveaway. Well, now it's time to go to the giveaway and find out who is going to be the lucky winner of the signed E. Erner Goodman sash. It was from episode 1. I mentioned to you before that I have an internet program that is going to sort of randomly pick someone. So I'm going to share that screen now and show you what we've got. And so you can see hopefully there that we had 150 contestants. That is so awesome for our first go around. And those people generated over 1,000 entries. There were some ways that you could increase your chances. So now I'm going to click the button here, ready to award, and we'll see who the winner is going to be. And it is twiceeagle@gmail.com. Entered there, all good, date entered, probability. He had a 1.4% chance of winning. So I will reach out to that individual and make sure that they know they're the winner. Hopefully they'll respond back with their address. Appreciate everyone who entered. And again, we will have a giveaway every week so that other people can have an opportunity to win. I get a lot of cool stuff in collections, and I'm going to use these giveaways as an opportunity to rehome some of those items. Well, I can tell you that I have already emailed the lucky winner, and hopefully when this person gets this email, they won't think it's spam or a joke. I did tell them they were the winner and asked them for their mailing address so that I could get the sash to them. We will have another giveaway tonight, something else cool that I got in a collection and I think you all would enjoy, but I'm going to save that a little bit closer to the end, try to get you to stick around for the rest of the show. Next up, we're going to have an unboxing, but before doing that, I want to tell you a little bit about Best Hobby Pages. Now, some of you are very familiar with Best Hobby Pages. This is a premium way to store your scouting memorabilia. It's using a plastic, we call the page system. You can see the acronym there, plastic archival grade envelope system. And I've got an example here that I'll be happy to show you. This product was created by Joe Close some years ago, back in 2009. And Joe invented this for collectors. And essentially, the idea is it's an envelope system that fits into a 3-ring binder. So sort of like this, all of you have 3-ring binders. The trick with this is that if I hold it here, there's actually an envelope that slides in and out of the page. And so you have your patch in a page, and then it slides in like this. And so that holds it very tightly where it's not going to fall out. It also keeps it very, very well protected. Not trying to make any claims, but actually one of my customers, a guy named Bob who lives in Georgia, some of you will know him, he's a big collector. He actually had a house fire where smoke got into his room, and literally he contacted me later and he needed to buy new plastic because the plastic maybe got a little messed up, but the patches inside were actually protected. And so that he was really sort of happy that he was using this Best Hobby Pages product to store his collection. So the other thing about this system is we have multiple sizes. So this was the 1-pocket page. We have a jumbo 2-pocket page. We have a 2-pocket page. You can see this one works really well for those NOAC 2-piece sets that some of you have just recently gotten. We have a 3-pocket envelope system here where you can see that it works for either flaps or CSPs. We have a 4-pocket that works really well for flaps and CSPs. And then also the same system here, 4-pocket, but you could turn them vertical for those patches that are rounds and arrowheads. We also have a 6-pocket as well. And then we also have some pages like for flaps and CSPs. So what I'd like to do is kind of make an offer to you here on the live show. If you would like to get a sample set of Best Hobby Pages, you can go to the website, besthobbypages.com. And there I sell a sample set where you'll get one of each item, and that will come to you in the mail. This coupon code, the coupon code is sample set, will get you that whole deal for $5 plus shipping. And that's just a one-time good deal. Happy to let you all try it out. Again, this started in 2009. A few years ago, I sort of bought this company, if you will, from Joe. And I've been sort of carrying the torch. He has sold hundreds of thousands of pieces, individual pieces. I know in the 5 years that I've been working with it, sold a ton of stuff too. And so I think if you're really a serious patch collector, this is what I would suggest you store your main prime collection in. I know a lot of people do. It is an investment, but again, this is the premium way to store your collection. All right, the next thing I want to go into now is the unboxing. Again, one of my most popular things that I do in the hobby is these unboxing content videos. And tonight I'm going to do something kind of fun for you. Yes, I have a pre-recorded unboxing of a pretty cool collection that came to me from Utah. That was from the 1950 National Scout Jamboree. This guy was a scout in Utah. It includes some LDS items. You'll see at the beginning of the video that I'm kind of stumped because I'm just not familiar with them at all. Turns out I did get some help on Facebook at the Scout Patch Collectors Facebook group and learned that these items, again, you got to watch the video in a second, it's called a bandolier. Okay. And someone shared some information about that to me. So your bonus tonight is after that plays, I'm actually going to do a couple of live unboxings of very, very small collections that I think will be kind of interesting to you guys. So here comes this unboxing. Hope you enjoy. Hi, Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper, back with another unboxing. This collection right here came to me, and I've got it for a few days, and I really want to go ahead and cut into it, see what's in there. So let me cut it open. This one came all the way from Utah, so that is a long, long way for this box to travel. But that's cool. I will take it. A lot of scouts in Utah back in the day. You know, the Mormon Church for a long time, its youth program was really focused on scouting, and so I can already see right off the top there is a bunch of Mormon scouting stuff here. The Trailblazer program, I saw a patch even said LDS, so that's interesting. I'm glad to get into this. So the Trailblazer, I don't know much about the program myself, but it was they sort of took the Boy Scout program and they added a few elements to it. In this Trailblazer piece, I've seen some neckerchiefs that mention Trailblazer. I'm not sure if that's kind of more of a sort of a first-year camper, first-year scout type deal. I think maybe it is, but I'll put that to the side here as well. Then I've got a piece here. Ooh, this has got a little bit of damage to it, but some kind of a
felt piece here that has a, again, that says LDS. I'll hold it to the camera so let you get a good look at it. LDS, but this guy has been pretty chewed up. I have no concept if that is old, new. I have no idea. And then there's another one right there, and this one's got sort of a patch on it that I'm not familiar with. I have to do my homework. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever gotten a collection that had a freaking gigantic cigar in it. Man, talk about being sentimental that you would hold on to a cigar all these years. This one says Niagara, souvenir of Niagara Falls. So I guess they just kept that. So whatever, man. Cool. That sounds good. Here's a shirt, and this one can give us a little bit of information here about the collection. So we see here it's got a Salt Lake City strip on it. We call this a khaki and red strip. So this would probably be pre-1952, which makes perfect sense because on here we see a 1950 Jamboree patch. So that's a nice uniform. And then there's another uniform from there as well. See if it has similar patches on it. This is an older style of shirt. This one has the metal buttons. So just an older style of shirt. Again, 1950 patch. And yep, this one has a Salt Lake patch on it as well. Now, this is pretty cool. Some of you might not think, hey, that's not that cool. It's just a t-shirt. But think about how many of these t-shirts are still around. 1950 National Jamboree. We know this is an authentic t-shirt, obviously going with that. And it's actually not that stained. It's pretty clean and white. And the colors are really vibrant. Let me show it to you a little bit closer. That's a really nice looking t-shirt. Now, I don't know who could wear that t-shirt today, but I think it's cool. Then this, I saw this one when the family sent me the pictures, and I thought this was really super cool. Region 10, Paul Bunyan land. So again, Region 10, this is, really, really going back old. And this was their logo for Region 10 was that Paul Bunyan guy. This t-shirt has been worn and, seen some better days. But, t-shirts is, a lot of people do not consider t-shirts to be memorabilia, like in terms of collecting memorabilia with Boy Scouts. And, that is kind of true. It's not. But it's not to say that those silk screened items don't still have a following. Kind of cool. Got a nice old sash here. I wonder if it's from that same time period. Yep, sure is. So we see here these rank patches going down. To be told if there's an Eagle Scout medal in here, but we see that on this sash at least, the guy is recognized as having gone all the way to life. And then we go down and see the merit badges. So counting here, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That looks like the number of merit badges you would need to be a Life Scout. You needed 21, I believe, to be Eagle Scout. So maybe he didn't quite get there, but still a really nice sash. We look here. These are the type of merit badges you see a lot of people getting. Leatherwork, pathfinding, safety, athletics, civics, swimming, things like that. But that's definitely a 1950 sash, so it matches that stuff there. These neckerchiefs, well worn. This is kind of a rayon material. These did not hold up very well, especially with the wash. This one's got a little tear in it as well. So that one's seen better days. Another one very similar. The guy had 2 of the patches, and now we're seeing 2 of the neckerchiefs. Again, very well worn. Let's see what this green one is. Sometimes you come across this where you see neckerchiefs and they don't really have a patch on them. And it's too bad because I'm sure back in the day, this scouter knew what this red and green neckerchief stood for. We unfortunately don't because it doesn't have any kind of insignia on it. Really nice handbook here. We probably could see where the guy was doing his scouting back in the day. That's good condition. So here's a couple of cool patches. This one has seen better days, but this is pretty old. So that's a 1943 camp patch, Tracy Wigwam. It's a camp out there. The 1944 was well taken care of. And then another one of those 1950 Jamborees. This is an unusual item, but you saw it earlier. It's not a silk screened item. It's kind of a composite material. I really don't know how to describe it. But it does not hold up well to washing. So I saw that he had this on the uniform, which is a little unusual. Again, a ton of stuff from 1950. This is a plaque on the back. It has the signatures of a lot of people. Maybe those were the guys in his troop, and he got that as a souvenir. Then this is probably, this is the cotton neckerchief from 1950. So obviously the rayon one was the one he was wearing, and this cotton one looks like it's never been worn. Interesting, interesting. Let's see if there's anything else in. And we got a whole folder. Oh my gosh, a really big folder of paperwork. Dun, dun, dun. So sometimes the paperwork you get in collections is just kind of all over the place. This I'm interested in, though, because it probably has a lot of stuff from the 1950 Jamboree. So if I click through here, timetables for buses, Boy Scouts, welcome, and kind of getting that Jamboree stuff like this one here. Let's see what this one is. Patriotic Guide Around Manhattan. Now this is just like a touristy thing, but probably part of that Jamboree trip, they did a bunch of touring. And then this is kind of what I was hinting at, is you're going to see things like this, which are definitely National Jamboree type memorabilia, the souvenir map in this case, and then things like the little Jamboree diary, Salt Lake City. Here's a letter that this scout got, and interesting. Love to see that kind of paperwork stuff. And then something like this, I think is cool. This is the Jamboree catalog, which that's so tempting. I'm just going to crack it open. So the Jamboree catalog for the equipment. What I love about that is, boom, there's everything you could have bought in 1950. Boy Scout jacket, the sweater. There's your sweater patch that some people talk about. The Jamboree is going to be fun. You bet. There's the uniforms they were wearing. A field cap cost $1. You could get the V-neck shirts for $2.50. The garter tabs were 70 cents. Interesting. Get the whole uniform for $15. They've got all these other stuff here too as well. See if there's anything Jamboree specific. No, I don't think so. There's packs and stuff like that. But this is really cool. This is, to me, this is kind of scouting history, seeing the actual advertisements for the equipment and stuff. So that's kind of the bottom of the box. There's not much else in here, just a few little knick-knacky things. But love getting a collection that's really a time capsule. I mean, we saw the fill patches from 1943 and 44. Those are super cool. But the fact that everything here is right around that 1950 Jamboree, that's such a neat deal. So excited to get this collection from Utah. This is what I do. I sort of buy collections and recycle them back into scouting. I'll go through this and sort it out, try to, again, with the paperwork, figure out what in here is really like scouting memorabilia paperwork and what if it is just of that time period, and then try to find someone who might appreciate it. Thanks very much, Jason Spengler, the SanteeSwapper. Check out my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com. There you can find all the videos that I'm doing, my podcast, my newsletter, everything I have going on in the scouting memorabilia hobby.
I want to make sure I remind everyone that you can leave comments there on Facebook or in YouTube, and I will be sure to respond to those people. I try to be active. That's one way to make this interactive in the group, and so I will certainly try to do that. Next up, what I've got for you is kind of a treat, hopefully. This will be something that kind of comes from the Scouting Hot Fence Insiders. This is my Patreon group. Talked about this last week. I have a Patreon. What this is a group of what you might call super fans, where we have set up some kind of perks to membership. And those include, we have a private Facebook group where actually I've been pretty active this week, posting things, including more videos. We also have some exclusive content, such as Inside the Warehouse videos. I'm actually going to play one of those for you in just a moment. And then also coming up next month, we will have our first roundtable Zoom to connect the other members of the Patreon group and to get ideas. We're going to be focusing in that one on the idea of selling on eBay. So I think that'll be kind of interesting for everyone who's a Patreon subscriber. All right. So again, what are some things that the patrons get to see that maybe other folks don't? What I decided to do was to share last month's Inside the Warehouse video with you guys tonight. And essentially what this theory is that here in this, warehouse that I work in as a full-time scouting memorabilia dealer, kinds of projects going on. And so the idea there is to kind of give these patrons, the insiders, a little bit of behind the scenes of what's going on in this business, because if they're diehard scouting memorabilia collectors, they would be kind of interested in that. So let me play for you the August inside the warehouse video. And again, this is something that typically would be behind that paywall, that subscription paywall for the Patreon group. But I wanted to share with you all so you could kind of understand a little bit about what I'm doing there with Patreon group. Hello, Scouting Hot Finds Insiders. Jason Spangler here, the SanteeSwapper, back with another Inside the Warehouse video. Now, it's been a little while since I've been able to put out one of these because, as many of you know, I've spent my summer working as a camp director at a scout camp down in South Carolina, Camp Barstow out on Lake Murray. It was a great summer, but now that August is here, it's kind of time to get back to work, back in the warehouse. And so I wanted to show you guys kind of what I'm up against and what my latest project is. So during the summer, I was still able to purchase collections. Some of those I actually bought maybe even before summer camp started, had the collections here, but just ran out of time to get everything opened, you know, do the unboxing videos, get things sorted out. And so I knew that I kind of had my homework, if you will, waiting for me when I got back from summer camp. And now here in late August, it's time to kind of get cranking on that. Luckily, I have enough inventory process where probably for the rest of 2022, I have stuff that's scanned and, you know, getting listed and ready to go, so that none of the items that you're going to look at today will really be dependent upon. But the way I kind of run my business is it's almost like a conveyor belt. You know, things get unboxed and you see those videos. Ironically, when you see the video public, oftentimes by the time you see the video, those items have, like, that's maybe 2 months later after I did the unboxing. So those items likely have been put into a sort like this. Some of them have been scanned, probably not listed. I probably don't have that quick of a turnaround time, although that would be nice if I did. But I just wanted to take you today kind of inside the warehouse to show you where I am kind of with that process. And this process I have kind of refined over the last couple of years as I've really ramped up my eBay business. But this is kind of what works best for me. Now, with this screen and how it's set up, you can't see a wide angle to see kind of everything we have going on here. But essentially here in the foreground and even behind me in the background, you'll notice that I've got a lot of plastic containers. So for example, this red one right here, this is all World Jamboree stuff. So literally I could pull in here and pull up a bag with neckerchiefs and patches. This is pretty cool. This is a hat that someone brought back from, I think, the 75 World Jamboree. And it's pretty cool, all this stuff on it. This blue tub over here is Cub Scouts. I have a giant tub full of Cub Scout stuff that I absolutely no any idea what to do with. I have never tried to list Cub Scout memorabilia for sale on eBay. If I just were to go across here, it's National Jamboree equipment, event patches, council shoulder patches, neckerchiefs, Order the Arrow. Then in this other one over here, I have a tote just for sewn or dollar patches. So as I'm going through collections, some patches I just know that I've seen it over and over, or it's a sewn patch. It's just not worth trying to run it through the process, so I'll just throw it in there, and that goes into my dollar box, which some of you might see at a traderie. NOAC, and then this is insignia. For me, insignia in this case is things like historic trails patches and 50 milers and mile swim patches, things that I just sort of get a lot of duplicates on. Then other insignia I have other boxes for. So for example, here I have a box, a tote that's just merit badges. Then behind me I have totes that have, for example, youth rank patches from the 70s and 80s, you know, the ones with the color. Then I have more vintage rank patches from pre-1972, adult position patches. So kind of winding all the way around here, I have containers for just about everything you can imagine, from keychains to red troop numbers to council patches, adult knots, even non-scout patches. There's a tub for that. And so the basic idea is that I'll take the box of items and then I'm going to sort every single thing in that box into, really, it's probably about 50 different containers. And you know, basically a lot of these collections have the same type of stuff. It might be from different areas when it comes to event patches or OA, but they're all going to have shoulder patches. They're all going to have Jamboree patches, all that kind of stuff. So for me to kind of get them sorted really helps move things along. Then what happens, and this might be something that happens later in the fall, then I might take one of these totes, for example, World Jamboree, and then actually sort this out. And from then I'll go into
putting like patches together, similar events, finding if I have 5 of this one, 8 of this one, 10, 12, whatever it is, and then trying to get those listed. So again, haven't done that for the Cub Scouts. So because of kind of how this is done too, I also come across some things that I think are really interesting. I kind of set those to the side. Yesterday when I was working on this, I found, for example, this Rainbow Council 1953 Jamboree contingent patch. So that was kind of cool. Some other 53 Jamboree contingent patches. I also found some stuff that could potentially go in my collection. I set them back over here. So I collect Order of the Arrow Conclave patches. And the way that I do this, I don't go out on eBay typically and try to buy them. I don't have a big needs list that I'm going and scanning all of eBay. But what I've done over the years is I've tried to, whenever I get a collection, if there's any OA Conclave patches, I try to call those out. And this is maybe a little bit of the trick that I think John Conley Williams did back in the day when he assembled his terrific collection from all over the country. Is, when he bought collections, he would keep one of each item, and that would sort of form his collection. Then he would sell the rest. So for me, I'm using a very small piece of that because I'm not trying to collect the whole friggin' country. But I always have been, I've liked pre-1973 conclave patches. And so I would define this simply as the era of the 12 regions. So like this is an Area 7J Conclave 1961 held at Camp Rotary. It's possible I have a few of these already. 1956 7D Camp Buffalo, Northern Indiana. It's possible I have some of these already. I do have that checklist thanks to the book that Jensen and I think it was Frank Denworth did for OA Conclaves. I have a great checklist there, but I need to run these through the checklist first to make sure that I actually do have them. So I'll kind of keep those to the side. So that's kind of what I do with these. I used to also keep an eye out for Order of the Arrow flaps that I didn't have in my collection, and that's how I was able to get a lot of the flaps for my OA flap collection. But honestly, it's about done. I only have one need left, a Tomahawk 241, and I'm actively trying to find one of those, but there aren't too many of those around. So anyways, just to kind of wrap things up, what'll happen is I have several boxes here already that I'll work on this morning that have already been unboxed. I didn't even do videos for those because I was doing those prior to camp and was just kind of in a hurry. But then I do have a lot of stuff in the front of the warehouse that is still in the original box, taped, everything. Haven't done the unboxing. So I'll probably do a big batch film of unboxing videos over the next couple, 3 days. And then I'll bring those boxes back here and then sort all the things out. So, this kind of explains too why when some people will say, hey, I saw your unboxing video. You had this patch from my state. Is that available? I'd like to buy it from you. No, because what happens with those boxes is after I open them, then everything gets sorted, and then it would be impossible for me to go back and find that one patch or that one item that you saw in the video that you wanted. So it's a little bit of a tease, I guess, with the unboxing videos, but I don't necessarily film the unboxing videos just for like the opportunity to sell the items in the box from the video, but more so just for the entertainment of it, for the excitement, for sort of the, and also I think the education of trying to explain to younger collectors, newer collectors, what those patches are, what generation they're from, that sort of thing. Probably could do a better job of that some days. Some days I don't have quite as much coffee in me as I need, but that's okay. So again, I want to film these videos for my audience on Patreon. I appreciate you guys supporting me, the Scouting Hot Finds Insiders. So this is my August 2022 Inside the Warehouse video. Thanks very much. Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper.
Okay, we're about to come up on the third and final chapter of tonight's show. First, I want to talk a little bit about the giveaway. So let me show you what tonight's giveaway is going to be. As I said, in these collections that I buy, I get some really interesting stuff, and sometimes I don't know what to do with it. This is a great example of that. So this is a hand-beaded, handmade leather Native American style bag. Just show you a little bit of the beadwork there. You can see it's double-sided both sides. This thing is very heavy. Then here's the cool deal. It's actually, of course, as I said, it's a bag. You can put stuff in there. Then also there are some leather drawstrings. So you can pull that guy closed there and tie that up. And so I just think it's really kind of a cool piece. I don't know what I would do with it. I think it's very, very interesting, and obviously took someone a lot of time to put together. So the next part we're going to see is this interview with Tico Perez. If you stick around at the end of that, I will tell you how to get in on this week's giveaway. The first is kind of a bonus piece. I've got 2 truly live unboxings I want to do for you. These are very kind of unique. They're very small, but I think you'll kind of get the point of why I decided to do these live. First one I got in the mail, and literally, look at this, you all. It came in a envelope, canceled from the post office. And what's in here is really pretty cool. I still cannot believe it was mailed to me in a regular white envelope. I'm still kind of like, and I haven't opened this envelope, so I hope that it didn't get damaged. I guess I would have probably said, padded mailer or something like that. But anyways, this was a lady who reached out to me, and she had something that belonged to her father, which is now falling out. So in her defense, she did have it kind of wrapped up in some padding and stuff, but she had her father's Eagle medal. Now the ribbon is really, really damaged, and so I don't even want to let it hang there, but I'll make sure I get this guy turned around correctly, and I'll show you to this guy. This is a 1920s Eagle Scout medal. It's what collectors will call a Rob 1. So Robbins was the company, and this was the first version they made. Again, I can't really handle this much more because I'm afraid that the ribbon might totally separate. But let me set that down. She did write me a note, and she said, thankful I found a good home for the pen. I wish it were in better condition. I was looking for something I came across. She came across this ring. And so this is another cool piece. I don't know if the camera will zoom in or not on that guy, but this is an Eagle Scout ring that goes along with this. And so what makes this interesting to me is that you actually do see a lot of Eagle medals, even if that one's really, really old. But I can honestly say I have never seen this particular Eagle ring before. I could wear it as a pinky ring, y'all. I guess I could. Now I can get it off. But I got enough rings going on. So I have one more quick surprise unboxing for you. This one's kind of funny in a way. Every once in a while when I'm dealing with families, I'm dealing with people, I run across all kinds of people. And, in life, some people are just characters, right? And so this collection came from a lady who is a character. And I'm going to prove that to you by reading to you some of the back and forth that we had in regards to this. So in this padded envelope, there's simply only one thing in here. There is a neckerchief. And you can see if she wrote me a note. Because like I said, it just says thank you. She was a little interesting, saucy. So this is the red jacket that many of you will recognize. However, if you pop it open, you'll see that it is actually a camp staff jacket from Camp Brinkley, Chief Seattle Council. And so I'm looking at the tag. This is not the official BSA jacket, but it is right spot on. Literally, I ought to tell you guys where to find these things. It's from a sportswear. But here's what the funny story was. So she said, the tag says me, this is us going back and forth about the jacket. She says, the tag says medium. I don't think it's ever been worn. These creases look original. She said, this was left here by my Eagle Scout boyfriend, who, let's just say, he doesn't behave much like an Eagle Scout anymore. Ooh, that's not nice. And then she said, she said that in the pocket, she found his name tag in a subsequent email. And she said to me, she said, I'll have the jacket on their way to you Wednesday. I'll go ahead and store the name tag where I keep my enduring affection for my ex, in the garbage. So I sort of feel bad. Whoever was this lady's boyfriend who left this jacket behind, as she reached me, and now I'm the proud owner of a Camp Brinkley staff jacket. Apparently, things did not end well. So I thought you all might enjoy those two unboxings. It's kind of like little bonus pieces. But as I kind of highlighted at the beginning, Tico Perez is the National Jamboree Chairman, and I interviewed him. Today you're going to hear the second part of that interview, and this is really going to focus on the topics of adults and staff. How can adults come to the Jamboree with a troop or serve on staff? It's a really interesting interview. Again, as I mentioned last week, the lighting where Tico is sitting is not very good, and so sometimes his camera is a little blurred out, but his enthusiasm comes across. And honestly, I learned several things I didn't know from listening to interviewing him, and I hope you will as well. All right, Tico, we've been talking about the Jamboree, and now I want to turn the conversation a little bit more towards adults and then staff, which you've already mentioned. So let me ask this question. As you said earlier, this is a neat opportunity. Traditionally, in a Scout Jamboree troop, there were only 4 adults. You and I joked when we spoke in person that this was sometimes one of the most cutthroat political decisions that are made in a council. Who were the 4 Scoutmasters that got to go? And so
Absolutely.
You all have kind of, I guess, to me, broken the mold of how this works. So can you talk for a minute about what was kind of like that conversation like? Because anytime you change a tradition in scouting, it causes tremors. And then just again talk about the opportunity for these parents that registered scouters that could attend.
Yeah. So the opportunity to me is the key, right? We really want as many people to come to the Jamboree as we can, but we also want to be able to share this experience with their children. So the Jamboree leadership, the troop leadership, will still be absolutely screened and tested and interviewed and all the stuff we've done before. But you can also come as a parent, pay the Jamboree fee, and be a member of that unit, not necessarily in a Scoutmaster role, but you will be there as a chaperone, if you will. We're not calling them chaperones, but you can certainly be there, enjoy the Jamboree with your son or your daughter. You can have the opportunity to spell some of the Scout leadership. Because one of the challenges of being a Scoutmaster at the Jamboree is somebody's in the campsite all the time. You've always got to be there. You've got to be prepared for issues. What we're saying is bring some more adults, let the Scout leaders enjoy the Jamboree and have a good time, and create an environment where this is a family Jamboree. Mom, dad, everybody comes, and it becomes more of a family-centered event, which is what we're trying to do in scouting anyway. Create more of a family-centered movement, and I think this is a key opportunity to do that. And honestly, Jason, it was not a heavy lift to say, you know what, all adults are welcome. A lot of the councils have actually thanked us for this. The national had the structure of only 4 adults. It wasn't the councils, it was national. And we just decided we weren't going to do that anymore. So anyone can come. You have to be registered in scouting. If you're going to be a leader, you have to have your youth protection trained. And we are requiring each unit to bring 1 wilderness outdoor first aid specialist. So maybe that's a great role for a parent or a committee member to join in as well. But yeah, this is open to everyone, and we're hoping a lot more participation from parents, and maybe for a lot more of those large units as a unit themselves. They don't have to come as a unit. I mean, they come through their council, but you could bring 20 kids, 20 adults, and have a unit that comes and enjoy the Jamboree as your own unit as well.
No, I think it's just a wonderful idea. And if you think about, oftentimes if a troop is going to, say, Philmont, they organize themselves as a troop, they get the adults all trained up and they go as a unit. So why not make the same opportunity for the Jamboree? Seems like a genius move. Why didn't they think of it before? Yeah. So with that traditional setup, you've mentioned in talking in person that, you could potentially have a troop that's like 1/2 adults, 1/2 youth. Are the troops still 36 people? Kind of talk about the makeup of the troops in this new model.
Yeah, the troops are still 40. 36 plus 4 is the anticipated number. So the campsites are designed for 40, but we have plenty of space, so we can have as many troops as we want. remember, this property is built for many more kids. 6 years ago with our last Jamboree, scouting was much, much larger. As you know, between the LDS leaving us and COVID, we have shrunk dramatically. So we now have a church built for Easter Sunday out there. We can bring as many units as we want to bring, and we can camp them all very comfortably in their troop space. So yeah, it's still 40 people per unit, but we can have as many units as we wish.
Well, again, I think that's a great opportunity, but another way that people can come to the Jamboree is on staff. And so and you've already mentioned that, can you kind of go back through and talk a little bit about what are some of the opportunities for someone to serve on staff? You know, when you think about a summer camp, like I work as a camp director in the summer, I have to hire people for all the different roles at a summer camp. A little bit different for a Jamboree. There's a lot going on. So can you kind of talk about working on Jamboree staff?
Sure, it is different, and it's a whole different experience. The staff has a whole different environment. Staff camps by themselves. One of the exciting things this year is we're going to have staff parking on property. So you can access your vehicles as if you're a member of staff. You can store things in there. And more importantly, you can come and go from the property. When you're not on duty, you'll be able to come and go as you wish. You won't be able to drive through but you'll be able to get out and around the perimeter roads. So if you want to go into the city for dinner, you want to go into the city for any other reason, you'll be able to do that and come back to camp. And this is a big change for staff, but it's one of the main issues that we heard about in our after actions, and we're excited to be able to offer that at this Jamboree. But as far as the positions, realize we're building a city. We'll have 10, 11, 12,000 people there for 9 days, 10 days. There's going to be trucks coming in and out with food. We got trading posts. We got medical facilities. We've got all of our activities. There is a staff role for any talent that you may have, or you can even just work in the trading post if you want to. So we have retail, we have restaurant, we have food service, we have all of our base camp operations, we have all of our programmatic elements and programmatic operations. And if you've got specialty, by the way, in aerials or in medical, we definitely would love to have you. We're still trying to fill a lot of those positions. We're a year out. We'll get them full. But if you've got some desire to help there, we could use it. We've got security. We have anything that a city has, we will have. And it's going to be a phenomenal challenge for us. I'm about 1,000 staff members short so far. Again, I have no doubt we'll fill them. They're coming in like crazy now. But there's room for 2,500 staff, and that's what we're going to need, and we're at about 1,300. So we are ready for more staff members, and we're excited to invite you to come.
Tico, I know you've obviously made this accommodation with cars, which I'm sure would be beneficial to recruiting people and make it a less stressful situation other than being locked up in the mountain for 10 or 12, 14 days. But in the past, there's also been some options to work like halftime or half of the Jamboree. Is that still kind of a flexible option?
Absolutely. We certainly have the ability to work half staff, just work half of the Jamboree. That absolutely is available. And it's an important option. A lot of people want to take that option. They can't take 12 days, 13 days out of their time, but they want to be there. So we have a half of staff. And again, that's half the fee. And those employees are essential to us, the front end and the back end. They are essential. So just because you can't take the whole Jamboree, do not think you can't serve on staff. We absolutely want you there.
And just to finish this conversation about staff, you already mentioned that the staff has their own campsite. I do think that in a lot of ways, being on staff, people sometimes are afraid they're going to be stuck on parking staff and they'll spend all day waving down cars or something like that. But I think that in a way, the Jamboree staff gets to participate as well. Maybe just sort of talk about that a little bit, about how do they get to have a Jamboree experience? Maybe it's a little different than what a youth would experience, but still significant.
Oh, it's a little different, and a lot of the staff say it's even more fun. We've got staff dining. We'll have different staff programming, staff time together. They celebrate. The evenings are typically big dance parties. It is extraordinary how staff get together and just have an amazingly good time. And they trade a lot of patches, and that's always a positive. But it is the staff experience is one that once you've been a participant, or if you've aged out as a participant, it's absolutely worthwhile. You will make so many great friends, and you will know the Jamboree and the Jamboree property so much better by being a part of the staff. And you're helping, right? You're part of helping young people have the experience of their lifetime. I still remember pretty much every moment of my Jamboree in '77, which was a while ago. And a lot of it because of those staff members who were there, who gave their time, who worked, but who also, I realize now, are having an incredibly fun time all by themselves.
Well, just on this call, I've learned some new things. In fact, learning that there is a significantly less fee structure for Jamboree staff if they're, sort of the younger crowd.
Under 33.
I mean, I literally have a dozen people that work for me at summer camp staff, and we have scheduled our summer camp to end well before the Jamboree, knowing that some members of the staff would want to go do that. But now if I can go to them and say, hey, 18, 19, 21, 22-year-old, why don't you sign up for Jamboree staff? You get to take a little break between summer camp and then go do that wonderful experience. I think I'll definitely include that in my next staff email.
Well, that would be awesome. And it's also designed, if I'm being honest, to get young professionals in the movement to come staff, right? I mean, what a great experience for a young scouting professional to come and learn about scouting movement nationwide and see the same thing and have their eyes open the same way as our young people and build relationships with volunteers and get their own personal commitment to scouting. One of the challenges we have with our professional staff is we got pretty substantial turnover, as you might imagine. Every one of those turnovers is difficult for us. So if we can get them to come to Jamboree, be on the staff, and bond with this movement, we'll keep them a lot longer. So I'm very excited about that as well.